Mum Julie Gale gets stressed out over the continuing sexualisation of her children. Bombarded with images in the media, confronted with clothes in the stores, when all she wants is for her kids to be kids and allowed to grow up in peace. Siobhan Gleeson on a woman who refuses to take it anymore.
Padded bras for 4-year-olds, G-strings for 5-year-olds. And just look at this pair of girls' underwear. It's enough to make parents sick, and one in particular, very, very mad.
These clothes are turning our kids into sex objects, and if they're not on an adult, they belong in the bin.
Julie Gale is a mum on the march. Sick and tired of the sexualisation of children, she's launching an Australia-wide campaign to let kids be kids.
I'm no prude, but I just think, no, my children shouldn't have to know that. My own daughter says, Mum, kids know too much for their age. And she's only 12.
From advertisements to toys, clothing to video clips, even neighbourhood billboards, sex and sexual imagery is everywhere. Julie says this constant barrage destroys a child's innocence, leading kids, particularly girls, to believe they must act in a sexual way long before their time.
There has never been any parent power. That's what I'm here for. I want to grab all the parents that I can to get behind the campaign, Kids Free to be Kids, and see what we can change.
Children who are over-sexualised are likely to be involved with sexual activity at a much younger age.
President of the Australian Psychological Society, Amanda Gordon, is right behind the campaign. She's concerned advertisers, marketers, the media and clothing manufacturers are doing huge damage to the minds of young children.
If the message is that you should be sexy and grown up instead of being a kid, then kids aren't practicing and learning how to be whole human beings that will actually make them into great adults. They're instead only imitating adult behaviour without understanding it, and that's very dangerous for their development.
The response has been extraordinary. My emails keep coming in all the time from parents, grandparents, teachers, concerned people in the community who are just saying thank you for taking a stand and being a voice for something that we're so concerned about.
Julie is taking the Kids Free to be Kids campaign all the way to Canberra. She's demanding the establishment of a single independent regulatory body to oversee all media directed at kids. She wants all direct advertising to children under 12 banned, the creation of a complaint system for concerned parents, and for advertisers and marketing companies to start displaying more creativity in their work, with a move away from the often lazy sex sells approach.
I would hope to think that politicians would come out and say, OK, the community doesn't want this, and individually, I don't like this as well. What can be done?
A research paper from think tank The Australia Institute, titled Corporate Pedophilia, supports Julie's move, saying children are only likely to develop freely if government assists parents by limiting sexualising pressure at its source, advertisers and marketers. Current regulation mechanisms are failing in this task. Retailer David Jones has already taken legal action over the report. And while there's no doubt Julie's campaign must be applauded, Amanda Gordon has this advice for parents.
I tell parents, don't buy sexy clothes for your children. There's nothing smart about having a 4-year-old in a little bra. It's time for adults to take a stand, for parents to take a stand and say, this is what we want for our children, instead of children saying, this is what I want for me. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing.
And if you'd like to support the Kids Free to be Kids campaign, the details of how to contact Julie are on our website. Now to the magazine for young girls peddling pornography and sleaze. The latest issue of top-selling Dolly magazine for girls as young as 12 shows a catwalk model naked from the waist down. The magazine says it's a mistake and is trying to withdraw the issue from sale. But as Andrew Burke reveals, magazines and books being marketed to young girls are becoming more and more offensive.
There's a very fine line between educational material and pornography.
Full frontal nudity, drugs and a seemingly endless obsession with sex. All available from your local newsstand. And we're not talking in the pages of smutty men's magazines wrapped in plastic.
I would like to see a process where the content in these magazines are screened and vetted before they go out and are sold to children. Magazines who think that they're aiming towards an older market and are not, are actually encouraging young girls to be sexually active well before they're developmentally ready to be.
The current issue of Dolly is causing headaches for its publisher ACP after retailer Woolworths refused to stock copies. Dolly says it was simply an accident not covering a Nicholas model next to a suggestive caption referring to the, at times, underwear-free Paris Hilton. Julie Gale from the Kids Free to Be Kids campaign says the magazine goes too far in a number of areas.
When Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan have been flashing themselves in front of cameras for the past year and seemingly making that a good thing to do, and then Dolly magazine puts a picture in that makes it more okay, a woman on a catwalk's doing it as well, it's a very strange message to be giving our young girls.
And it's not just the offending picture that has Julie Gale up in arms.
In the same magazine, they're promoting text messages for young girls to go onto, and one of them is, "Are you looking for sexy singles? Chat, flirt, have fun. Thousands of guys online." What message is that?
The problem with Dolly is that it's not value-free. It's not saying don't do it. What it is, it becomes a bit of a how-to manual and generally is not suggesting to young kids that there is a real problem with its sexual mores and the attitude towards taking drugs and the like.
The Australian Family Association's Damien Tudhope believes Dolly needs to be more responsible and stop marketing itself as sexually progressive.
They are suggesting to young kids that it is okay to engage at a very early age in sexual activity. It is okay to engage in drug taking.
It's certainly not, in my understanding, what consumers of Dolly would be used to.
Paul Hunt from the Office of Film and Literature Classification says the publisher will perhaps think twice before featuring nude models in future issues.
It's unlikely we'll see that sort of image again in Dolly.
And magazines such as this are only the beginning. Today Tonight has uncovered an array of disturbing literature aimed at young girls that would shock even the most open-minded parent. Derogatory language between teenagers and graphic descriptions of how to perform sex acts fill page after page. And a final warning for parents from Damien Tudhope.
If you just give your kids these magazines to absorb, then you should not be surprised if they are engaging in activities which you would rather they were not engaging in.